Last night, I spent 4 hours skating up Bleak Beach. I cleared debris, I planted trees, set up little rest areas for Pokemon to come back to. When I closed the game, I saw my real desk. There were dishes I hadn't touched, laundry on the chair, a to do list I'd been ignoring for days. I did 4 hours of chores, but not the real ones. If you ever lost an evening to your virtual world while your real one waited, you know this feeling. But game designers figured out something about motivation that real life still hasn't caught up to. I've been stuck on this for a while now, because when you break it down, the tasks are basically the same. You're watering crops, organizing inventory, cleaning up an area, checking things off a list. In a game, I'll do this for hours, but in real life, I'll stare at my phone for 20 minutes before I even start. If I even start. And the game version is harder. Real dishes take like 5 minutes, but virtual farming takes all night. And somehow the fake version wins every time. So I did some digging. I wanted to know why this happens, because if my brain can focus on a virtual storage chest for 40 minutes, my attention span clearly works. Something else is going on. As you probably know, Pokopia came out about a week ago. And in my previous video, I said I wasn't going to buy a Switch 2 just yet because I'm waiting for Pokemon Winds and Waves. But I caved after seeing the 100 TikTok about Pokopia, and I'm glad I did because this game does something different than the other Pokemon games. You play as a Ditto pretending to be human, rebuilding a post-apocalyptic world by creating habitats for Pokemon to return to. There's no catching or battling. The whole game is about building conditions that make Pokemon want to show up on their own. So if you want Hoot Hoot, you need to create a dark environment. Water types need a pond, and I spent way too long planting exactly the right flowers before Butterfree finally showed up. I found myself completely absorbed in this, like embarrassingly absorbed. And at some point, I started wondering why cleaning virtual debris felt so satisfying when I have actual debris in my apartment that I've been skipping over for a week. Turns out, game designers have spent decades trying to figure out how to make our brains want to do things. And what I found out when I started reading about this genuinely surprised me. So I went down a rabbit hole on this. And there's a researcher named Robert Sapolsky who spent years studying dopamine in primates. What he found was that dopamine doesn't work the way I thought it did. I always assumed dopamine was the reward chemical. You do something good, you get dopamine, you feel satisfied. But that's not quite right. Dopamine actually spikes before the reward, not after. Your brain releases it when it predicts something good is about to happen, which means the anticipation is doing most work. Game designers have figured out exactly how to trigger this. Think about how slot machines work. You never know exactly when you're going to win, so your brain stays locked in, always trying to predict the next hit. Pokopia does the same thing with which Pokemon will show up next. I knew something was coming every time I finished a habitat. I just didn't know what. That uncertainty kept me playing way longer than I planned to. Games also give you something real life almost never does, which is instant feedback. Every single action produces an immediate, obvious response. When I water a plant in Pokopia, it sparkles. When I finish building something, there's a little chime. When I help a Pokemon, hearts blow up from its head. The game is constantly telling me that I'm doing a good job. When I do the dishes, the kitchen just looks slightly less terrible. That's it. There's nothing telling me that this was worth doing it. I just did a thing and now there are fewer dishes. Same with emails. I send one and maybe the person responds in an hour, maybe 3 days, maybe never. The action and any kind of outcome gets completely disconnected in time. And in Pokopia, I can look around and actually see what I've built. The world literally transforms based on what I've done. When I started, it was empty and sad. Now there's a whole habitat with Pokemon living in it. I made that and I can walk through it. My real life progress is invisible. I'm probably getting better at things, I'm probably building towards something, but I can't see it. I just wake up every day and everything looks pretty much the same as it did yesterday. So I've been experimenting with this, trying to figure out what I can actually steal from games and bring into real life. The first thing I noticed is how much choice matters. When I open Pokopia, nothing happens until I decide what to do. Do I want to build something, explore, check out my Pokemon? The game waits for me. It doesn't care what I pick, and there's no clock counting down. Every action feels like my own idea. My to-do list is the opposite. Everything on there feels like an order. I have to take out the trash because pickup is tomorrow. I have to reply to that email because they're waiting for me. It's all stuff I technically chose to care about, but it doesn't feel like choosing. It feels like executing someone else's plan, even when that someone else is past me. There's actually research on this. Self determination theory, it's called. The basic idea is that motivation works differently when you feel like the author of your actions versus when you feel like you're following instructions, even if the instructions come from yourself. So I've been trying to build choices back into my life. Instead of I have to clean the kitchen, I ask myself, do I want to start with the kitchen or the desk? It's the same task, basically, but framing them as decisions instead of obligations changes something in my brain. I know it sounds kind of dumb. I mean, it feels dumb when I say it out loud, but it actually helps. The trickier thing to fix is feedback, because games are basically feedback machines, and real life gives you almost nothing to work with. When I finished cleaning up Bleak Beach last night, Pokemon started showing up almost immediately. They wandered in and made themselves at home. Hours of work, and I knew it mattered because I could see the results walking around. When I finally do my dishes, the result is just absence. The dishes aren't there anymore. There's no Pokemon equivalent or sparkles that show up. Nothing shows to confirm it was worth it. So I've been trying to create my own feedback loops. And it sounds kind of silly, but I started keeping a list of things I finished. Not a to-do list, but a done list. Just a running note of stuff I actually completed. And I can scroll back now and see weeks of proof that I'm not just spinning in circles, that I actually get things done sometimes. And it's not the same as watching Pokemon wander onto a beach I just cleaned, but it is something. I also started taking before photos of stuff. Like if I'm cleaning a room, I take a photo first, and then an after photo, just so I can see the difference. Because otherwise, I finish and it just looks like a room. The progress disappears instantly. Game designers would never let your progress be invisible. They show you how far you've come instantly. Real life hides all of that, so you have to service it yourself. The last thing I've been thinking about is failure. In Pocopia, what happens when I mess up? Well, I just try again. If I build something ugly, I tear it down and start over. If I put the wrong habitat in the wrong spot, I just move it. The stakes are basically zero. Real life doesn't work like that. Sending the wrong email can actually damage a relationship, and missing a deadline affects how people see you. Starting something publicly and failing means sitting with that failure for a while. I think this fear is part of why real tasks feel so heavy sometimes. Games let you experiment because nothing bad actually happens. Real tasks carry weight, so they start to feel risky. I don't have a perfect solution for this one, but I've been trying to lower the stakes when I can, like telling myself I'm just going to do something for 5 minutes and I can stop after that, or treating whatever I make first as a rough draft that nobody will ever see. It doesn't remove the stakes entirely, but it makes starting feel like less of a commitment. Pocopia works because it gives you all of this at once. You're always choosing what to do, every action produces immediate feedback, your progress is visible everywhere you look, and messing up costs you nothing. The whole experience is engineered to make effort feel good. Real life is none of that built in. And I don't think that means something is wrong with us. The game was designed by professionals who spent years figuring out how to keep people engaged, and my apartment is not. So I'm not trying to turn my life into a video game. That sounds exhausting and honestly kind of dystopian, but I am paying more attention to why things feel hard when they shouldn't be. And usually when I look closely, something is missing. Maybe I don't feel like I'm choosing, or maybe there's no feedback. Maybe my progress is invisible, or it starts to feel too risky. Once I know what is missing, I can at least try to add it back. The data with Pocopia spends the whole game pretending to be human, doing human tasks, trying to rebuild a broken world. When I think about it that way, we're kind of doing the same thing. We just don't get the helpful game systems running in the background telling us we're doing a good job. But the data succeeds because Pocopia gives it exactly what it needs to keep going. We're working with the same brain, we just have to build the support systems ourselves. Every time I play now, I catch myself noticing why it works. And I'm not trying to stop playing because this game is genuinely fun, and I don't think there's anything wrong with enjoying it. But I am trying to take what works and bring some of it back into the real world, because that's where I actually have to live. If you're worried that Pocopia is just going to end up in your pile of unfinished games, I made a video about why that keeps happening and what you can actually do about it. That one is on screen now, and I hope I'll see you in the next video. Bye!